Hey, what's going on, everyone? Dominic, the Primetime Treasure Hunter here. It's Saturday morning. I'm heading out to an estate sale. This first one we're going to start off with looks like really the only good thing going on today based on the pictures and the description. There's a couple other things I may go to. Depends how this first one is, and we'll take it from there. I've got a lot of stuff at PTHQ I've got to do today, so let's head out to this sale. It's early in the morning, 7:30. Let's get after it. All right, well, I could see the cars lined up here. It looks like a bunch of other people had the same idea that I did based on the pictures. So this isn't even run by an estate sale company, so people are just coming based on photos. Let me get a spot here, and then we'll inch our way up there. I got to get away from this fire hydrant. All right, there we go. I'm parked safely away from it, just in case anyone wonders. All right, so this is future Dom. I actually just got out of there, and I didn't realize this, but turns out that this house was like buried in stuff for the longest time. They removed 11 dump trucks worth of stuff from the house, and whenever you hear 11 dump trucks worth of stuff was removed from a house, you know you're dealing with a house in which there was a hoarding situation. If you ever watched the show Hoarders, you would see that. I show you dump trucks at estate sales when I go there, and I could tell you from experience that typically they might get one dump truck worth of stuff out, maybe two in a really bad situation, but 11 dump trucks, that's really significant. Now, later on, I noticed that the house had a posted sign on it. So, they either didn't want anyone trespassing on it, or it might have even been condemned. I'm not sure. The woman had lived there for 50 years or so. But, when you remove 11 dump trucks worth of stuff, there's so much accumulation. It's usually in a state of pretty bad disrepair. And as a result, the stuff that's left over usually isn't that great. So let me show you what it looked like when I went inside. All right, so I walk in through the front door, turn right, and this is the first room that I see, all this stuff laid out on tables. And I could quickly ascertain that there's not much value in here, which is not what typically happens when I go into an older house. So, that's the effect of all of the stuff that was removed from the hoard that was in here. Now, that's a good little ceramic piece there. That frog I picked up, it was new in bag, so I felt good grabbing that one. Then I do look for gnomes. These little small gnomes were cool. They kind of have a little Santa look to them. One's playing a musical instrument, the other one isn't. And then there's, this little girl here that goes with it. They're nice and vintage. You could tell from the feel of it. And so I got all three of those. Then this one was really cool. I told you I love dragon stuff. And so this was a, dragon inside the orb there. And wait till you hear what it sounds like. So I thought about getting this bunny, but it's got some damage to it, and it's somewhat big and hollow and breakable, and just not worth it for something I could probably only get around $20 out of, and then I got to factor in shipping, so I left it behind. And I left these behind as well, these Norman Rockwell mugs. They look cool, but they're overproduced and just not valuable. That is really cool, though. I wanted to show it to you. Those rocks for the fireplace are original to the house. They came from the 1800s when the family bundled them up. Always look under pieces to see if there's a Big Lot sticker. If there's a Big Lot sticker, leave it there. It's just not a sign of valuable and vintage items in the premises. I could just tell you that from experience. When you see that, it's a bad sign. So room after room just continued to reinforce that. I came across things where, maybe you could get some value. You look at records, it's like, all right, well, too bad the records are all damaged and they're dirty and the titles weren't good, even if they were okay. There were some things that were clean, like these frames and stuff, but just not things that you could really get and, use for eBay reselling purposes. Came across the book room and thought, well, maybe I could find something here. But this is unfortunately what happens when it's buried under a hoard for years and, it's not stored properly. You could see here, it's just book after book was like this. They're just falling apart. There's all sorts of damage to it. It's just a shame because some of these things, could have had some value if they were kept in good shape. Here you could see, torn binding and stuff. It's just terrible. This Tonka truck looked much worse in person than is showing up in the photos. It was something I wouldn't even bother trying to clean. Then, you just had a bunch of overproduced figures that weren't worth anything. This one could have been worth about $20. It does work. It's a Snoopy's vintage 1960s light up, but you could see here the fading and the staining on it. It's just not worth it. So I just left it behind for somebody else. It'd have to be in better condition to sell for what I said. A lot of bulky glassware. There were some electronics in the back, weren't worth it. So I walked back to the garage area and thought, well, maybe there's something in here. But again, the filth was just everywhere. There was, rat feces on things, and, you could tell there were like urine stains. And look at that. Look at the pole, just filthy. There were spiders crawling on me. There were flies all around, like buzzing by me. You could see the big spider web back there. It was just kind of creepy. Again, once again, a creepy place. So there you go. Good for Halloween themed, I guess, since that's not too far away, I guess. But it was just gross in there. And then there was a room, well, a tent, I should say, that had some furniture under there. But, we're not doing furniture right now. And, that was it. More junky furniture. All right, so we're out of there. And I figured let's stop off at a garage sale. Now, the only reason I'm stopping off at the garage sale here is the advertisement said that there are a bunch of collectibles and stuff. So, we'll see. All right. Looks like the backyard is where we go. Just documenting the occasional fail because that was not as advertised. I mean, there were no collectibles back there. I don't know what the person was talking about. Anyway, one more estate sale, then we're back to PTHQ for today. So I don't know what it is with these creepy houses I keep winding up in for estate sales and these, creepy staircases that I wind up going down to. I did not plan this out today. It's just how it wound up again. So now this basement down here, is just dark and kind of gloomy and just bare. I mean, there was just nothing down there you could use for reselling. It really was a wasted trip. Coming over here, which is a shame because I usually do well with these particular dealers, but it just wasn't in the cards today. And as I'll explain in a moment, upstairs wasn't much better. Well, the upstairs wasn't any better. It was very tiny. There were 2 rooms and there was barely anything in the rooms. It was so narrow. There were like 2 other people there. I mean, it just wasn't even worth turning on the camera. So time to head back to PTHQ. All right, so if you're wondering what the Primetime Treasure Hunter's eating for lunch today, this is called the Gobbler. So this sub is stuffed with turkey breast, stuffing, and a cranberry mayo. It is absolutely delicious. And some dew. All right, well, after I ate that Gobbler sandwich, I spent the rest of the day cleaning up my office upstairs, pulling inventory out of there that is for reselling purposes, and really trying as much as possible to reduce any overspill of inventory items into other areas of the house, that's not really for reselling storage. And so, this room down here is dedicated to that. Part of the room next to this is dedicated to that. And of course, part of the garage and also Primetime Treasure shed quarters. All that is dedicated inventory space. But once things start overspilling into living areas, that's where things can transition into a normal operating business into a hoarding type of situation. And so you've got to remember that type of stuff and try to stay on top of it and prevent it, especially after seeing the remnants of what we're at this morning at that first house. It's very, very, very important that things don't transition into a hoarding situation. So you got to be real careful with that and seek out help if you need it. It is okay to ask for help. Now, just a couple other updates before I let you go in terms of some sales, and I'll show some of this some more in an upcoming What's Sold video once we go over things that sold for the month. But last week, remember when I was at the bunker house and I went and looked through those red gasoline cans, which thank the person, by the way, who told me that they were jerry cans. That actually is a form of a gasoline can. That guy was just cutting them down to make, just basically identical, storage containers. And inside one of them was Microsoft PhotoDraw 2000. I sold that within days for $100. If you remember, I basically got that for less than $1. It was an amazing, deal that day. So that's why I still go out and I still get some things. I try to be careful, not to overload myself on stuff right now because I already have a bunch of stuff to list. So I don't need to go out and get tons of stuff, but I still enjoy the hunt, and I have fun doing that, and I could sniff out and detect, these types of valuable items. So I like doing that and bringing that stuff here. Don't get me wrong. If there's a good opportunity for a really big haul, I'll still pick it up. I still have room for stuff like that, but, still trying to be careful and mindful of the inventory that I already have, which speaks to what I said earlier. And as part of what I'm doing, I'm in this process of consolidating and getting things off of these shelves, which have gotten out of control over the year, and it's important that you've got to recognize that. So I'm trying to model some of that for people and to hopefully inspire some people to start tackling things that look like this in your own house, because as resellers, at some point we usually all wind up having something that winds up looking like this. So as a positive note, if you remember down here, there were 19 Walt Disney library fun to read books, like easy to read library books. That was a complete set. Within a week, I sold that for $82.50. So that's great to just get that out of there. That was taking up a bunch of room. It was a nice sale. And the other thing, I want to give a shout out to Metal Flippin' Mel if she's watching this. I know she is, but I want to thank her. She is someone who used to live locally around here, and she had recommended a horror convention for me to go to last year. I filmed it. It was on my channel. I had a big Halloween score. I got a lot of good vintage Halloween items, especially wall decorations. And I found the best, literally what is considered the best Frankenstein wall decoration with Boris Karloff as the model for it. Unpunched, so a little hole in there was still intact. I put it up for auction. It sold after 7-day auction for $118.50, paid for everything. All of that sold yesterday. So yesterday was a $300 sales day with 3 items. So awesome, love it. So keep that in mind too. It's not always about how many items you have up. It's, how much are your items selling for? And what's your return on investment on it. Those are things that are really important to take into consideration as well. The best thing is to have a lot of items up that you get a great return on investment on, and that you're selling at a good rate. So anyway, that's it for today, folks. I'll go out, I think, probably tomorrow, head out to the flea market as well, and there might be another estate sale or something. We'll see what's going on, and we'll just take it from there. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you comment down below if you have any questions or anything. Feel free to tell me. So anyway, I'm going to watch some Doctor Who with my son, and I'll talk to you at the next one. Take care, everyone.